What's good, everybody? It's Abwon, and this is Before You Watch, spoiler-free review. So if you're new to this channel or to this show in particular, I review TV shows and movies, obviously, and they're all spoiler-free. I have different segments like the live leak where I record the audience's reaction during a film, and I have the afterthought segment where I have a guest or guests on the show, and we talk about the film, and it's literally like real time, like right after the movie, not 3 weeks after we watch it. It's literally right after the movie. So this week I have award-winning film producer Parris. We did a review together on Birth of a Nation. You can check that out on my channel, and we linked up again for this one here. So my review is going to be relatively short because I feel like the interview him and I had, or should I say the discussion that him and I had, definitely is what you want to hear. Whereas my review, I'll keep it short and concise. So first and foremost, when I first saw the trailer for this movie, I knew it was right up my alley because I love movies like this, but because it was Spike Lee, I was kind of on the fence about it because I didn't like She's Gotta Have It that much. Even though I binge watched it in one day, I didn't really like it that much. And a lot of his other movies that he came out with before then, I was just kind of like, So I was really on the fence, like, is he really going to disappoint me? But seeing as how he worked with Jordan Peele, and I really liked Get Out a lot, and that movie did win awards, and I feel like it opened a lot of people's eyes towards, how the dark side of interracial dating, I guess you could say. I also did a review for that. You can check it out as well. Since I really enjoyed that film, I said, I'm going to check this one out because it's probably going to be nominated for an Oscar. So first and foremost, the one thing I like about this movie is that it's intense from start to finish. It's marketed as a dark comedy or like a dramedy, I guess you could say, but it's really not. It's really just a drama with comedic elements. It opens your eyes a lot. Art definitely imitates life in this film. They speak on a lot. They speak on a lot of topics here. Obviously, you probably already know that, but it doesn't just touch on racism towards black folks. It speaks about prejudice towards Jewish folks, homosexuals, women, things like that. So it touches on a lot of topics. You just have to be woke, I guess you could say. Some people may walk in and they may just take it for what it is. A police officer infiltrating the KKK, and they may just be like, oh, well, that was a good movie. And people that really know what's going on will see the subliminals. Like perfect example. There's a scene where the Grand Wizard of the Klan is speaking to somebody, and you overhear two people like, I love listening to David Duke speak because he's vowed to make America great again. And we know where that's from. And they also say it again in another scene. There's also other things that you can note, that you notice as well. The actors, every actor in this movie they all did their thing. Topher Grace, I kind of had some issues with. I just didn't feel like he personified hatred as much as he should have. I mean, I get it. He's not a hateful person. He's really not the Grand Wizard of the Klan. But there were other actors in this movie that I really felt like were really racist in real life. Like, that's how I knew they were really acting and really taking on their role. But even with that, I still feel like he did a great job. The acting is top notch in this movie. Everybody, even like people that have 3 lines, they all did their thing in this movie. And the fact that this is based on a true story just makes it even greater. I wish they would have shown more scenes of the figures being portrayed in real life today, like what they're up to. They shed some light on a couple characters, a couple figures, but not the ones that I really care about. So because of that and Topher Grace's lack of charisma, I guess you could say, I give this movie a 9 out of 10. It would have been a perfect 10, but a 9 is just as good because you guys know I'm a really tough critic. Like, it's hard for movies to even get 7s on this channel. So, I'm going to check that movie out again. I would definitely check it out if I were you. Even if these aren't your type of movies, I would definitely watch it. It touches on a lot of topics. I feel like young people especially need to watch this. People were teary-eyed walking out of here. People were applauding. I was one of them. And, this movie will open your eyes to a lot of things. Some people live in a bubble. They really don't understand how deep-rooted the issues in America are. And this movie definitely touches on a lot of them. So definitely check it out. Spike Lee did his thing. Jordan Peele did his thing. They did not disappoint. If it wins an Oscar, I would not be surprised. If it's nominated for an Oscar, I would not be surprised. So don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I have that afterthought segment coming up right now with my man Parris. You don't want to miss it. What's good, y'all? It's Abwon, and this is the afterthought segment of Before You Watch for KKKlansman. I'm here with award-winning producer Parris. If you don't remember, if you this is the first time tuning in, you were actually on a review with me for Birth of a Nation.
Right, that was a great film.
That was a great film, and it's crazy because surprisingly or ironically, they played the original Birth of a Nation, like the old Klansman, like radical movie, whatever, in this film.
Yeah, and here we are talking about a Black Klansman showing the original Birth of a Nation, and our first show was
Birth of a Nation, exactly. So before we jump into this,
I hope we don't keep doing things like this. We do science fiction, we do fantasy, we do action movies too.
True, definitely. And it's crazy because like years ago, like when Get Out came out, I also reviewed that as well too. You can check that out on my channel. When that came out, there was a tweet and it said Jordan Peele and Spike Lee are planning on collaborating on a film about a Black Klansman, and they got the idea from the old Dave Chappelle skit. And I was like, damn, that sounds like a pretty good idea. Exactly.
But here's the thing, this movie also won second place at the Cannes Film Festival for Palme d'Or.
Okay.
Second place. Kate Blanchett, who was the president of the committee, said this movie points a finger at an American problem.
Yep.
Not an African American problem, not a white problem.
An American problem.
An American problem.
Yep.
Which I think is actually a really good way of describing what's going on here.
I think so too.
And remember, they're British, so they're in Europe, so they see Americans differently than Americans. So they're like, this is America.
They're like, yo, these guys out here got problems, man. So scale of 1 to 10, what did you think?
I'd like to give this movie, I would give it a 10.
You would give it a 10?
I would give it.
You would give it a 10?
1 is historic.
Okay.
Which I like about it. 2, I like the way they presented African Americans.
True. I liked it as well.
The makeup, meaning the bush, the hairstyles,
yeah,
done very, very well.
Yep.
Because in a lot of cases, those bushes are ugly.
They're ugly. You can tell this.
It's done very well.
Yeah. Nah, you're definitely right.
When they were singing the songs, they'll say a lot, I'm black and I'm proud, which is a lot of, that's not giving away anything. You'll find that in a lot of movies. All those people there were beautiful.
Yes. Yeah.
Black and proud. They were gorgeous, beautiful black people in this movie. And, because we always talk about things like, in this time period, part of what the movie was showing how, people felt what's beautiful. And is the white face beautiful? Is the white face beautiful
with the thin lips versus the black face? Yeah.
And I'm saying, and here you saw these men, women, they were all beautiful.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So that was really nice to see that. And then you see these white crazy guys.
You know what? The guy that played Felix, there's a gentleman in this movie. He's in the Klan. And honestly, I feel like a lot of these movies, because I do watch a lot of films. Like I watched one with the Daniel Radcliffe, the guy that played Harry Potter. I forget the name of that movie.
No, that was the play.
There was a movie that he played where he was basically an FBI agent infiltrating the Klan as well. And I feel like every time they have like a film where somebody infiltrates the Klan, like some outsider, they always have like the stereotypical roles. Like they have like the leader that's hateful but not really, but kind but not really. And then like his right hand man is always the one that's like the loose cannon. And then he got like some dumbass who like doesn't do anything.
And yes, those tropes were there.
Yeah, they definitely were.
You got the hee-haw, giggle.
Yeah. I really didn't like that guy. I was like, yo, why is he here? Like the Cartman of the group.
But it shows that you will find that kind of character within these kind of organizations.
Exactly.
And the way they're saying what kind of characters would be drawn to an organization of such a nature, which isn't really based on real logic or anything about being humane.
Exactly.
So what kind of people are drawn to that? And unfortunately, it's troubled people.
Troubled people, feeble-minded people, simple-minded, whatever you want to call it. That's pretty much just what it is. The gentleman that played Felix, I feel like he did a fantastic job. Topher Grace, I mean, I feel like for somebody, he basically played the Grand Wizard, which is like the leader of the Klan. For him to play such a prominent role, I feel like he was just playing like himself, like from that '70s show. He just was like more serious.
Yeah, I didn't feel a lot of power.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't feel like a lot of power either.
He didn't come off as being very powerful, nor did he come off as a person who was wielding power.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
You know, he just came off as some guy who was just talking and just happened to be there. It's like, hey, I'm just gonna talk to you guys about white supremacy,
and that's it.
Let's have a sit down and play some cards.
Yeah, like, pretty much.
Where is this guy's charisma? Where is his power? What draw these people to you? Now at the end, when they show a scene, because you can find out about this, they show the scene, if you look at any interview, where they had that rally, where the Ku Klux Klan had the rally.
Okay.
And you see the real
David Duke. Basically talking about how Trump is going to make America great again.
Now that guy had charisma.
Yes, you're right. You could definitely tell why these people were clapping for him, and he only said like maybe 5 lines, and I was like, okay.
And you could see the fire in his eye, and the passion in his look, and it was kind of scary.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Gentleman who looks like he's willing to do anything
for
whatever crazy cause. Even though he was trying to the real person was trying to change the look of the Ku Klux Klan and trying to make it the secret group and not look like a frothing crazy idiot. So, and he's also going to politics. Exactly. So it's a possibility he was trying to play it like that. But I would have liked to have seen the real Duke in action, and that look that gentleman had in his eye. That would have been a lot more powerful.
Exactly.
If I saw that movie.
Speaking of the real Duke, I was hoping that they would have shown what the real Ron Stallworth was doing. Like, I mean, I don't know when he passed away. Maybe he passed away. Maybe he's dead now. I don't know. But I felt like I wanted to see him like in real life. Maybe with whoever his wife was. I don't know if he was still with the woman in movie Patricia.
That's a very good point.
You know what I mean? Because it's like.
This guy, Topher Grace, looked a little bit like
He did. He really did.
That was good casting.
Exactly.
But think John David Washington,
who's Denzel Washington's son.
Well, then that might be why you didn't see that, because maybe he didn't look like the guy.
Yeah, I don't know. But you know how some movies where it's like based on a true story, they kind of like show who the real person is, like in everyday life after the movie.
That would have been,
you know what I mean? I would have like, okay, maybe maybe he's on the force. Maybe he's like speaking in front of the youth or something at like a church. Who knows? Like, I don't know.
That would have been cool. I love the relationship he had with the young lady.
Yes,
which was so on point.
Yes,
because when I went to college, all the students of the Black Student Union, all they ever talked about was black everything.
Yes.
Black power this, black power that. It's like, can we sit down and watch TV? can I eat my ice cream in peace?
Yeah. And you could definitely tell that he was, not only was he conflicted between who he was as a black man, but who he was as a police officer, but she was also conflicted as trying to be part of this movement for liberating black people, but also being this man's significant other.
Yeah, but she played that so well. The young college student who is not immature. I don't want to say immature, but just young and very impressionable, and so impressionable that she can't think of anything else but this black power thing, and it kind of overwrote her own personality.
Yep.
Just like the KKK members, their personality was overwritten by the powerful message that the KKK was doing.
Yep.
So in a way, there's scenes where they're both saying white power. Then you see people saying
black power.
Then you say
it's like
white
opposite
power.
Sides of the spectrum. They're talking about how they were being wronged and social injustices and things like that. And then you have in the other room all the Klan members are talking about how they're this superior race. It's just crazy how it's like opposite sides of the spectrum. You know what I'm saying?
Either way, and I don't think they showed that were ideologies that will overwrite the personality of people.
Yep.
And when I saw the movie, I kept thinking to myself, that was at a certain time. And I understand where people had to stand up for their rights and had to stand up for themselves to break free of the environment, which is very negative. So they needed that bolstering. But in the end, it still comes down to us as a person developing ourselves and our own personalities. And what I saw, these young people on both sides were totally repeating rhetoric.
Yep.
And that they did a great job in showing that no matter what, this beautiful black woman could not do or say anything that was not surrounded by rhetoric.
Yep. Yep.
She couldn't even love the guy.
Exactly.
Just as a plain man and a woman.
Exactly.
Because his character was wrapped up in that rhetoric, and I think that was so true. I think she played that role.
They went to dinner, and perfectly. He's just like, don't you ever take time off? And she's like, this is a full-time job. And he's like, I'm just trying to enjoy dinner with my woman. And we got to talk about pigs this and this and that. It's got
to be Black Power salad.
Yeah.
Black Power wine.
Word.
But that's so true, brother. I was there. They did a great job.
You know, it's crazy you had said this because you was like, it's a comedy? Because I said the same thing. When I first saw the trailer, I said, wait, is this going to be like a lighthearted film? You can't make a film about racism lighthearted.
I think that was a great ploy to get people to come in to see it.
Exactly.
And say, oh, this is going to be it's Pale. Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele from he made Get Out. Yeah.
And Spike Lee, they're like, okay, we're going to laugh. It's going to be hilarious.
Instead of it being like this hate-driven. Yeah, exactly.
Like the skit.
Yeah, exactly.
Where the black man plays a Ku Klux Klan, he's blind, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Clayton Bigsby.
What show was that?
That was Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle. So Clayton Bigsby.
I think a lot of people came here thinking, okay, this is going to be hilarious. And when they sat down and said, whoa, this is a real movie. Every now and then, the bit of humor and comedy was a perfect release to the tension. Because there's a lot of tension in this film.
Yeah. There is a lot of tension. It definitely brings forth a lot of emotions, too. Because just like you said, like movies like this that are based upon like something so deep-rooted, you can't just knock them over the head with intensity and serious scenes all the time, or people are just going to be like, I can't handle this, I got to walk out.
But I have to say, I would not say this is a comedy.
I would not say this is a comedy. I wouldn't even call this a dark comedy. I would just say it's a drama with comedic elements, and that's pretty much it.
And even now, I'm surprised I'm saying this is a comedy. I'm like, no, this is not.
Yeah, it's not.
The really brilliant part is that this wasn't just about black people and their problems. They also brought in the problems with how they saw Jewish people.
Correct.
And how they saw gay people, homosexuals,
yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And how they treated women in here. My
God.
Yeah.
That was another thing I noticed too. But that was like so low key,
right?
That if you didn't understand really what they were doing, it would just go right over your head. You wouldn't even realize
this movie would have had a different effect 20 years ago.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Even 10 years ago. But today, with the Me Too movement,
yup. Make America Great Again. The football things going on. The drama going on with NFL.
People taking a knee.
Yeah.
Women fighting back in Hollywood and saying no more.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Gay people stand up for themselves saying no more. Now, this is the kind of movie that people look at and go, you know what? We can see this.
Art is imitating life all throughout this film.
And they can look at this and say, this is not just a black problem. This is a problem that people have in this country, and we just have to deal with it. So I think that was a good point. Even though it was the Black Klansman, the name was a Black Klansman, this problem really is beyond just black.
You're right, because you bring up a very good point too, because the gentleman that played Kylo Ren, I can't remember his name.
Adam Driver.
Okay, when he goes to him, he says, you know what? Even though I am Jewish, but I wasn't really raised Jewish. I didn't have a bar mitzvah. Hearing them spew all this hatred about Jewish folk, you can tell like it got to him.
I'm starting to think about my culture now.
Exactly. I'm thinking about my heritage and why are you speaking about my people this way?
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to look at my own heritage and my own, culture and my language. I never thought about those things before, but now I find myself thinking about them.
Yeah. It's crazy. I didn't really think that dude was a good actor. Like, when I watched Star Wars, I was like, man, this guy really can't act.
In this movie, Adam Driver did a great job.
Yeah, I think he did a fantastic job. I think everybody did a fantastic job. Even the wife of the Klansman. I feel like everybody... Topher was really the only one I had issues with, but I still feel like he played his part well. He just could have done a little bit better.
Well, I would have rather seen more of a powerful imagery. Like, why are these people following this guy if he doesn't have a charisma?
And every time you see him, he's in an office, like in some enclosed room on the telephone.
Yeah.
And it's just
when he finally came out and came to this meeting and saw all his members, he was just like, hi, guys.
Yeah. I'm David Duke. I'm the national director. And it's just like...
Hi. Yeah. But I think John Day Washington...
I think he did a fantastic job, too.
It's hard when you're under the shadow of a luminary.
Yes.
His father's definitely a luminary, but I see him standing on his own chops.
I think so too.
He did a fantastic job, and even if his father wasn't as as big, Denzel Washington, whatever. I think he did a good job beyond even that. Like, if I didn't know his father was famous,
true, exactly,
he stood on his own and did a great job.
I think he did too.
The woman he was dating, she did a fantastic job.
Yep.
I think her name was Laura Harrier, and she did a phenomenal job.
She definitely did.
She played the young ingenue very, very well. And she was not a damsel in distress. Exactly.
She definitely held her own.
She held her own. She carried a gun, and she was ready to.
She was ready to use it, boy.
What was a cringeworthy part in this film for you? If there was a part where
the cringeworthy part in this film for me was when all of the Klansmen were watching Birth of a Nation and cheering it on. I was like really upset during that scene.
With you.
I was sitting there so angry, like I cannot believe this, yo.
That they're all chanting.
Yes. And the way they were just like calling, it's just like the racial slurs. It's just like, I was just sitting there like, this is like so ridiculous. But just like you said, I think Spike Lee did that on purpose.
It was a movie within a movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nation, and that was a pretty terrible movie.
Yeah.
Now, for me, what was cringeworthy, which touched me, was when they were in the Black Student Union. They were all together in a room. And
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, the story they were telling it was about a young man who was accused of raping and killing a white woman.
Yep.
And how they brutalized and tortured.
They castrated him.
This poor guy. And telling of the story was just cringeworthy.
Yeah. At first, I thought he was talking about Emmett Till.
Nah.
But then I was like, no, that's
this is
not
some
him.
Guy I never knew about.
Exactly.
But he was on those postcards, and I've seen those postcards of the guy who was hung and burnt, and his body falling to pieces, and telling the story of this young man.
It's
being
unbelievable.
Dragged through the streets, being cut to pieces and burned. And the telling of the story was just...
Yeah, I feel like the reactions that we saw in the film, I feel like those were real reactions. And Spike would just cut, and he just recorded it all. Like, I'm going to get all of this on film.
You know what? It's possible that they didn't even know what story was
going to tell. That's exactly what I'm saying. I think he walked in and they was just like, he's just going to speak to you and that's it.
Right.
And he just caught raw emotion on film and that was it.
And again, you got that same thing. All these students together in the room listening to the aged teacher telling a story, and it worked. It was very real.
It was deep. It was deep, man.
Black Student Union group was very, very, very real.
It was crazy, man. So to wrap it up, that's my man Parris Moore. If you got any projects or anything coming up, definitely let him know where to find you. You know, this is your stage. I'm going to give you the spotlight real quick.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me.
And you can hit us up on Instagram.
His IG.
I'm up there on Instagram. Hey, guys, check it out. It's a great movie. It's definitely worthy of seeing. And again, as I said, it won second place at Cannes. And I think that it's definitely going to be a contender for an Oscar.
I think so, too. I definitely think so, too.
Great for Spike Lee.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic for Spike Lee.
He was so happy. And when he brought back the award, he said, I take this award for the Bronx, for the people. You know, he was like really happy about that.
Fantastic. Definitely.
And Jordan.
Oh yes, I'm really happy for him. After Get Out, all the success with Get Out, I'm really happy for him because they've come a long way from Mad TV, boy. I'll tell you.
You know, it's like this new generation. I don't want to say new, but this generation of filmmakers, man, we can expect some good things.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. I'm definitely not.
We're looking forward to some great things, guys.
I'm definitely
Look me up. I'm on Instagram.
I'm gonna leave his social media links all in the description. You can definitely check me out. You already know I leave the links in the description as well. Make sure you subscribe for all of the dope content coming out. And if you haven't heard the review that him and I did with Birth of a Nation, I'll leave the link in the description as well. And make sure you watch this movie. And I'm out of here.
Peace.
Be good, guys.